Hey guys, this is the FH41, a Firebird knife made by Ganzo. When I got the 51, I think 2 days after that, I noticed they have a newer one, the 41. And I did not think I was going to get my hands on one so quick. But luckily there's an online shop here, and they actually let me know, hey, are you interested? I said, yes, please. I'd like two FH41s, and because they also had the FH31, and I wanted to have whole the whole FH line, I said, just send me one of those too. Um, I can do this because these are Ganzo knives, and they cost about $25 to $30 each one, so it's not a fortune, and they are made out of good materials, and they do have a more than decent fit and finish. So it's not a bad deal on any day of the week. So I got this one 5 days ago. First evening when I got it, I sharpened it. I sharpened it because I said I worked with the initial Ganzo edge with which the knives came, and this one also has a thin grind. Not as thin as the 51, but about there. So I said, the initial edge angle being about 25 degrees per side, I said, let's drop it down to my usual 20 degrees per side. 20 degrees per side is not a bad edge angle. It's a very safe edge angle. If you have HCR 13 MOV, S30V, or AUS 8, it's gonna be a safe edge angle, which gives you, I would say, okay performance for EDC tasks. If you have a super steel, then feel free to drop it, and it might also take some abuse. But for D2, 20 degrees per side is very safe, and it's gonna perform very well due to the thinness of the grind. That was my thinking, and it did. D2, a well heat-treated D2 can take a smaller edge angle with no issues. 10 degrees per side with no issues. However, I do not want to spend so much time modifying this edge angle. For my initial FH11, which I've sharpened from the 25-30 degrees per side where it stood down to 20, it took quite some time. This one was done in about 20 minutes, sharpened and stropped. So it was shaving sharp. I carried it for 5 days. It carries very well. Um, the pocket clip is truly deep carry, something which I complain in the case of the FH21 and a bit in the FH51, although this one's a bit more comfortable. But you can see this one is truly deep carry, even more so than the FH11. And I have to salute that. If you're gonna have a deep carry pocket clip, put it as near to the butt of the handle as possible so the knife will disappear in your pocket. This one does. For me, this one carried very well. Now, I would call this a mixture between the 51 and the 11. Why? It's the same size as the 11. Cutting edge length would be approximately equal. However, with the FH11, you have this straighter handle and the concave scales. With this one, the handle's a bit more contoured, the scales are convex, and although if you're gonna grab it the normal way with your pointer finger in this cutout for the liner lock, you might be missing some material here. I cut about double the cardboard that I cut with these ones, with these two, because it was a sharper edge and it was more comfortable. It fills the hand out better, but I felt myself moving towards the butt of the knife to have a bit more purchase on the knife. And also what I noticed, the pocket clip did not bother me, as was the case for the FH41. Now, they did cut out the liners here in an equal amount. So you can see the liner lock sticking out even from the other side. It does not bother you, or at least it did not bother me while cutting cardboard, because like I said, at no point did I press up against it. The lockup is secure. The action is very smooth. Not as smooth as the FH11. I just wish they could top this, but I guess this is going to be very difficult to top. I can half deploy this if I light switch it and I don't grab it right. It's much harder to half deploy the FH11. Now, I mentioned this one has a thin grind, and also it has a very nice distal taper. In my opinion, the flippers from Ganzo, number one, are very well made, very good fit and finish, good materials, and they are meant for everyday carry. Except for maybe the 31. I haven't really worked with it, but this one doesn't really look like something that you would want to EDC. This is more of a pure working knife. If yes, you could EDC this one because it's a smaller knife and it's still as much fun, but you could do very good work with this one due to the thin grind, the nice distal taper, the very pointy, sharp tip. This I would consider a working knife more than anything. But the rest, I would say these were specifically thought out as EDC knives. If I were to go out in nature and grab a folder with me, I would not choose a liner lock, simply because of my experience. I've abused the axis lock much more, and even damaged it will maintain a knife functional. You may get some blade play with an axis lock, but it will still be a functional locking mechanism. In the case of the liner lock, if you were to hammer on this knife and you bend the liner lock, it will not close, or you could not lock it open anymore. And since this doesn't have a back spring, that wouldn't be ideal. So EDC, everyday carry folder. And for that, I have to admire their thinking. They put swedges on the backs of these knives, and they put a nice cutout right here. They have nice jimping, arguably, although I'm not the biggest fan of jimping. And with this one, they left a nice straight portion here, thin jimping that doesn't bother you. I would say more for indexing than anything else. It will hold your finger, but it won't hurt it. And they did chamfer the spine. This is not a swedge, it's a nice chamfer. It's pleasant to look at, and it feels very good. It just feels very good in hand. There are no sharp edges. And that's a small detail, but I like it. The only thing that I do not like about the FH41, and it's not really a problem, some of you might actually enjoy it, is the lanyard hole. I mean, they did put this spacer right here, just like with the FH11. Then why not use this beautiful, beautiful solution to have a lanyard hole? Maybe some people are going to appreciate it and like it more. Personally, I think a cleaner handle, no hole, would have been much more beautiful. But that's a small issue. No, I'm not even going to think about it too much. But that just, you could have. Let's just put it that way. Overall, because I don't want to go as long as I did with the other ones, this is a very good intermediate between the 51 and the 11. I cut cardboard with it from shaving sharp. It went to paper slicing sharp, and double the amount of cardboard that I cut with this one. And then I stropped it 3 times per side, came back to shaving sharp. I didn't have to push there, and it took off the hairs. The nice distal taper helps. I kept the cuts in this region going towards the tip, and it did a great job. I will always be a fan of having a nice thin grind and a nice distal taper if you can have it. Now, it feels just as sturdy as the FH11, and due to the fact that I dropped the edge angle about 5 degrees per side and it was sharper, it felt most comfortable out of all of them, except for this one when I cut with the tip. Some people did not like the finger choil with this one. This one has a sharpening choil, which is well made, I would say. And the whole grind is flat. And I guess you can see it in the light. It's very well finished. You could put this to a stone and thin out the grind without much effort. Just put it on the stone and start rubbing. You don't have to think about it too much. And with a thinner grind, and maybe then drop the edge angle a bit more, this is gonna be a great everyday carry knife. For the price, you get great materials, very good fit and finish, I might say. Any one of these, I cannot speak for the 31, but the 11, the 21, the 41, the 51 are by far the smoothest flippers I have worked with. And it may have only been the 21 where they did not put Loctite on the pivot, but because that one loosened up after a couple of days of playing with it. But this one did not. Absolutely no blade play. Good deployment. You can have to deploy it if you really try, but not really. Very fun to play with, I can tell you that much. This one comes in at an even 100 grams. So 12 grams lighter than the FH11, 19 grams heavier than the FH51. Thinner grind, distal taper, drilled out liners to reduce the weight, deep carry pocket clip, green, blue, and black. I prefer the green nowadays because I think it looks great. The blue is nice, but for everyday carry, green and black is less conspicuous. Okay, guys, if you have any questions or comments about the FH41 or suggestions, just add them in the comment sections. And I'll get to them as soon as possible, hopefully. I hope you enjoyed the video. I'd like to thank you for watching, and as always, I wish you all a great day.